Hello, and welcome to another episode of Your Parent Coach. I'm Mel, and today I am joined by a dad of four children, you heard me,
Yep.
Brian Parana. So thank you, Brian, for being here today. I'd love for you to intro yourself, tell us a little bit about you and your family.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks so much. Well, first and foremost, I married my high school sweetheart. Lucky me. We're 19 in. We have four kids, three boys and a girl. Levi is 15, is now a sophomore. Everett is 14. He is just joining into high school. Then Maxwell's 12 in middle school, and Emmeline is just newly turned 10. And we actually celebrated her 10th birthday in Paris a little after the fact, but that was her birthday present. So there is my family. We live in Akron, Ohio, and I myself am a health coach. I specialize in, I've worked with everyone I've been doing this for 23 years. So it's really hard to throw a situation that I haven't experienced, but I have particularly focused a lot on men lately, empowering men to lose 20, 30 plus pounds in a 100-day program. I call it the Call to Rise. And it's really helped them to level up in being a husband, a father, a leader in their social circles and employment. So that's me. My wife, she is a travel advisor, and she's the one who's got us traveling so much. We've done all 50 states, and
Wow,
lastly, we're working on all seven continents now, which is pretty wild to think. So there you go. There's a short, longer intro.
amazing. Thank you. Thank you. That's so cool. You got a lot going on, very exciting.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sure having four kids as well keeps you on the edge of your seat. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so with that in mind, with these four kids, two of them kind of deep in teen phase, and then you've got kind of two on the cusp. How do you tailor your parenting approach to meet their individual needs?
Yeah, definitely. Well, in my world, we have 15 relationships going on. So any which way, and they're all not any given occasion. Three of them are going sideways. Okay, so everyone's an individual in our house, right? They all have their own personalities, their own characteristics, their own patterns, behaviors, and everything. And it's important for me and my wife Amber to recognize who is in front of us, what their needs are, make sure that we're listening to what they're saying and not just assuming or brushing them off or being too busy. Both of us are self employed, so there's always this work life balance struggle in a sense, right? I'll say struggle because we're juggling all the things and trying to be there for our kids as well while providing for them too. And they are one room away, not, down a 10-minute drive away,
Mhm.
especially with summertime right now, and trying to meet all their needs. So knowing who my oldest is really an athlete. He's very active. His personality is very much matter of fact, and he's a manipulator. Just call him out the way it is. So Levi, he likes to get his way, and he'll do it one way or
Mhm.
another. Everett, very talented in visual arts and even performance. We actually sent him to a school focused on that, and he really thrived. He actually won Scholar of the Year at the end, which we were blessed just given that
Wow.
opportunity. But he's inquisitive, super smart, and if we were to rearrange the order, I would put him number one. Maxwell,
Wow.
he's even more matter of fact, straight to it. So you really have to be conscious with how you connect with
Mhm.
him, because if you say something, he will most likely misinterpret it, and and then next thing you know, he's off, not listening or not doing or anything. But crazy smart kid. He aces state tests somehow. I don't know. And then Emmeline, she is the last, and we are very fortunate to have her. She's just fun loving spirit, lots of energy, and so there you go. My wife and I are juggling all of those.
Or a whole variety. It's like having a whole classroom, right, at home.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so what I'm hearing is you really lean into their strengths. You lean into what they're
Yes.
great at and then
Right.
use that to your benefit to make sure that they're thriving.
Right, right. My Amber and I really focus on creating a lot of opportunities for them to thrive with their school, with their activities, sports, whatever. Go into the school year, we're juggling 18 different activities. We're at the middle
Mm.
school 3 times some days. It's a 15-minute one-way trip. So do some quick math. We're driving 90 minutes to make sure our kids are participating in activities, theater, band, orchestra, performance, whatever. It's swim. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
All of the things. So with that in mind as your like typical week, right? How do
Right.
you stay on top of all of that? How do you keep things running smoothly and what kind of communication methods do you use to maintain your sanity, but also everybody else's sanity?
Yes, definitely. Well, smooth is can be interpreted lots of different ways, right? And so I don't want to come on here and like grass is green over here. There's some brown spots too, right? The
Mhm.
sun got a little too exposed and not enough water as well. So one of the main things that my wife really instilled was a nightly meeting. And I turned on alarm because we share in our co-parenting and co-relationship and all. I have an alarm at 10:30 to make sure that I am prompting the meeting itself. So I've taken that leadership role there to make sure that we sit down, have it, look at the calendar, what's on the schedule, who's going where, doing what. We do have obviously some t- uh, chores or tasks or responsibilities that each of us have kind of divided. I drive, drop off, pick up probably the lion's share of times because it works better for my schedule. And so she's more of a night owl and a late riser in a sense. So she sticks me with the 6:40 wake up call to get the kids moving. She does get up, but I'm driving them, the whole 90-minute time frame of start. Kids are actually going into school. I'm the one moving them around and stuff. So I would say the 90-minute, or sorry, the nightly meeting is really important. Then we obviously text, communicate, and go back and forth as we're bopping around our day to make sure who's picking up who, or do you got them, or I got them, or say dinner. We both cook and we can see what the schedule is or read what their energy is, to manage who actually has to do it. And there's been plenty of times where each of us have filled in impromptu, like, oh, I guess I'm making dinner because the other
Yeah.
person's doing XYZ. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a teamwork makes the dream work in a sense. So
Yeah.
not
That
that we
balance.
don't fumble the ball there either because we're humans, but we try our best.
Yeah, yeah. I think the key point there is that balance between structure and flow. And I think a
Yes.
lot of families, particularly with multiple kids, they struggle with when things don't go exactly to plan. And I
Right.
think having that adaptability is
Right.
what you're saying is kind of key.
100%. So lean,
So
agile, ready
important.
to bob and weave at
Yeah.
whatever
Dodge
life is
dodge
throwing
the
us.
things as they come, embrace the things as they come. Totally. Um, and so I think thinking about, you've got a busy life, you've got a lot going on. What sort of values or lessons on a daily basis are you intentional about passing on? But maybe there's some subconscious things too.
Yeah, definitely. I think the first and foremost, the golden rule. And if all of us could do this, we'd all be better off, right? Treat others as you'd like to be treated, right? So we look for mutual respect amongst the siblings and my wife and I. We look for kindness, for generosity, for respect, for responsibility. Both of us are entrepreneurial, so there's this leadership guidance type going on. I bestow a lot of that. I'm a full-time coach and help problem solve, troubleshoot people's health situations, but beyond that, because if someone's stressful job is causing them to say binge eat a whole row of Oreos, we have to talk
Mhm.
about the stressful moments and what's going on. And so I'm constantly in the problem solving, troubleshooting type of a mindset, plus listening just countless amounts of personal development and all. I've got a fair amount. My oldest son, I think he rolls his eyes when I go into like teacher dad mode. He's like, "Oh, geez, here it comes."
Mhm.
He's just going to
Here
start
it
going
goes. Yeah.
on about this story or that story or this thing I should be doing or whatnot, and it probably tunes me out. But I always joke with them. I say, Levi, when you're 20, he's 15 now. So when you're 25, 28, you're going to come back and be like, wow, dad was really looking out for me there.
Yeah,
So I think
it's
those are
later
some of the
down the track when
characteristics.
those things will resonate later, but it's yeah,
Yes,
getting them into the back of their minds now so that they can, use them later.
right. Right now, I think with the kids in the house, it's about being fair. And that's a
Mm,
hard lesson because life isn't fair and
mm,
responsibilities aren't equal. Oh, this person should do this because I did that. That's not how it works. My
no.
oldest again, we'll pick on him a little bit, Levi, and he'll be like, "Why are you always telling me to do stuff?" And I'll just come
Mm.
back with, "Well, you're the most handsome and the strongest. What can I say? Just I'm not going to
Yeah.
argue with them. I need you to take the trash out. That was literally about 10 minutes ago, while I was reading to my daughter to get her to go to bed while I was helping troubleshoot my Maxwell. His headphones were connecting to a different Alexa because he wanted to listen to an audiobook to go to bed. And the
Hmm.
other one was off. I don't know what he's doing. And my wife is at a games night with her friends. So I was getting everyone down to bed, juggling those things, and then getting out here onto this.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, just being able to fill in, help each other out.
Yeah.
Yes, fairness is important, but it's a good lesson to say that, when you do enter the workforce and things like that, that's not necessarily how it works.
Right.
And sometimes you will be lifting majority of the load, and it's
Yes.
all about how that works out over time.
Right.
Really, really important. So then you are, just so you know, you are the first dad that I'm having on my podcast. So I really
Yes.
want to hone in on that. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
hear from your perspective, like as a dad, what do you do to protect yourself and your wife
Yeah.
when it comes to filling your cup? Because, as you
Right.
said, there's a lot going on, but having that ability to make sure you're maintaining your own and things like that is so important.
Right. Being a health coach, and I've just been into exercise and activity. One of the most thing that's important for me is I work out, and I've been able to connect. Not only work out with by myself, but I'm working out with my kids, Levi Everett mainly. I'll do some fun things with Maxwell and Emline. We swam in the pool with Emline today because it was 93 or something, 95 out. But working out, I also have some male buddies, a high school
Hmm.
friend, actually, Dan, and then a father. Chris is his name. He has 4 kids. He's a self employed business owner. And we've been able to really connect over those things as well and use that to leverage of a stress relief, a vent, a way to just check out of the busyness of the day and just act like 12-year-olds. So he comes over, I have a sliding door and I go, what? I just like yell random noises out and he yells back at me and then reflects off when we see each other and we're like, ah, and just we have a great time with it. So some of those are that's one very important thing. Occasionally I'll do some say Netflix and chill, but not really. Being an entrepreneur, you probably understand the amount of
Totally.
time that you have that's free is this. So I watch things in 10-minute increments, usually on 1.5 speed, is how I
Hmm.
entertain myself. So those are some things. And as far as the mental refresh,
Mm.
I really enjoy watching YouTube shorts, a lot of self development, personal development. I have a couple key people that are constantly showing up that are giving me wisdom. So when the common phrase of the 5 closest people that you hang out with are the biggest influencers. Well, those are the voices that I'm hearing all the time about going the extra distance, about pushing yourself, about learning the things you need to be more skilled, more developed, more equipped with how to handle what life has to throw for you, throw at you, or give you in a sense. So those would be some things.
Yeah, really, really important that you have, and I talk about this with mothers a lot, but similarly, what I'm hearing is you're building your own village, right? You're
Yes.
building
Yep.
those connections with those people and having fun. And um, I talk about this a lot, but parents often forget that they need to have fun too.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think it's really
It's
great that you've brought
yep.
that in. Yeah, really, really cool.
Most Tuesdays, my wife does go play some games with some adults. She also has once a month dinner night. She goes with her. There's three other lady friends that she'll do. She'll have occasional lunches with some girlfriends. She has one very close friend, Kate, that actually Kate and her daughter Etta and my wife and Amber and Emmeline were pregnant together, and the Etta and Emmeline were born about 5 weeks apart. So they're besties, and they see each other typically once a week. They actually go to school together now, so there's that relationship that comes over. And the most important thing is making sure I'm recognizing when she needs space or time, and being able to just step in and take over the best I can. Of course, I'm a male and I fumble the ball or I think about doing the things that I do the way I do them and stuff. And that does or doesn't always work or agree because we're humans and we're in a relationship
Hmm.
and there's lots of attention grabbing and chaos and crazy happening every day. So,
Yeah. Yeah. But and that I guess that leads into my last question, which is challenges around communication and connection, as a family and
yeah.
with your kids in particular, as they've moved up in age and are now in this tween teen phase, have there been challenges and have you had to adapt?
Oh, 1000%. Right. It
Hmm.
was, you think back of when your children were in diapers and how hard that was. And that's actually really easy because all you had to do is, wipe their butt, change the diaper, feed them, and they're good. And now the
Hmm.
problems just continue to evolve and change and shift. And I shouldn't say problems, but challenges are just growth in life, right? Everything changes. And if you're not prepared to change with life, then you're going to get left behind, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, right? You stop moving your body, you will not do well in 5 years. Like you will not be strong. You will be just, it won't be a good thing for you. And so
Mm.
being able to manage, making sure that there's open communication between the kids, the parents, understanding who's, which one of those relationships are not quite jiving, how to problem solve,
Hmm.
troubleshoot that, understanding how to speak to each individual child and get them to do the things you actually want them to do, right? That's a whole parenting Jedi trick in and of itself that you just have to learn and figure out as you go because there's no manual, right? Ultimately,
No.
there's best practices per se, but they're done 1,000 different ways and they're still all right. It's just one perspective versus another. So I'd say
100%.
that just keeping those lines, making sure everyone's okay, and then a big seed that we're constantly planting, Emma and I, is that we both came from divorced parents, unfortunately, and we're breaking that cycle. We're committed to doing that and making sure that it goes into our children as best we can, right? But planting seed, even more importantly, that they're there for each other. That the
Mm.
four siblings in this house are the most important people that they need to stay in connection with, because if they, like, that's their people, that's their personal tribe, their
Mm.
circle of trust in a sense. If we do Robert De Niro and Meet the Parents, but
Yeah.
like those are their people, and they need to keep them close and connect with them. And to my dying day, I will be texting them and making
Hmm.
sure that they're following up. Have you talked with this person or that person? When was the last time you saw them? Like, did you FaceTime them at least or whatever? I know you're busy
Yeah.
living life and stuff, but you have to stay connected because it's vitally important. And even with our travel opportunities, we've done all 50 states, we've done multiple countries, continents now. We just got back from a 2 week European cruise and Paris, Rome, Greece, whatever. There's a lot of adventures. So we have so many different stories and overlapping ways that they can stay connected.
Yeah.
So because they support each other, we have to make sure they
That's
support each other. So
Yeah, and it's all in the memory making, right? And the
Yes.
foundation pieces
Yes.
in these older years as well, because that's when you see them start to potentially fragment a little bit and
Right.
find their own niches and become their own people with their own
Right.
belief systems.
Right.
But you're right in that finding that core pillar to keep them still connected, and that piece is at the end of the day family, regardless
Yes.
of whatever else.
Yes. They're your blood.
Yeah, that's right. No matter what, they can always be there for each other. They might not like each other every second of the day,
Right.
but they definitely love each other.
Yes, exactly. That's the human condition, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. This
Yeah.
has been such a great conversation. And if people want to find out more about what you do or they resonated with some of the things you said today, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me thecalltorise.com. That is my website. That's who I am. What I'm doing is helping empowering men to be leaders in their house, in their, work circles, in their social circles, and being healthy and fit, most importantly, to fill their cup, so to speak, to be able to give to others. So that would be the easiest way, or at Coach Brian Parana is a really easy hashtag to, or a handle to find me on most social medias as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best.
Yes. Thank